But the point of this video isn't to give you a whole ranking of leagues, it's to actually open your eyes up and see, wow, there's actually other leagues out there that can help me play NCAA hockey, even if I don't make these top leagues, quote unquote. What's going on, guys? This is Braden from Advancement Hockey Advising here, and today we'll be talking about the top 5 underrated leagues to get you recruited to NCAA hockey. So we all know the powerhouses in junior hockey, right? Like the USHL, the NAHL, the BCHL. These leagues and a few other ones move so many players onto NCAA hockey, it's almost borderline ridiculous. If you guys want to see a full ranking, a full breakdown of which leagues are the best in terms of like 1 all the way to 15, you know, to move on to players to NCAA hockey, you can click this link up here and you can watch that video. But the point of this video isn't to give you a whole ranking of leagues, it's to actually open your eyes up and see, wow, there's actually other leagues out there that can help me play NCAA hockey, even if I don't make these top leagues, quote unquote, okay? So that's the whole point of this video here. Actually, a couple of the leagues on this list here really surprised me as well as we were doing the research for this video. So just because you don't make one of these top leagues doesn't mean the dream of NCAA hockey is over, okay? It does make it easier when you play in one of the top leagues, but that being said, it's still possible if you play in one of these 5 leagues, especially that we're gonna mention here. All right, so let's dive into these leagues here. But before, of course, I have to ask you guys to absolutely destroy that like button. And if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss another video. Now let's dive into the top 5 leagues that we have on our list. So the first league that I want to mention here is the SJHL out in Saskatchewan. Now, a lot of players have an idea in their minds that this one's actually pretty good to advance players to NCAA hockey, youth sports, and all that. But honestly, I'm putting it on the list because I underestimated myself how many commitments that they actually get. So I'm just going to run off the list for you guys here. So for Division 1, the past season, they got 20 NCAA D1 commitments, which is crazy. That's the SJHL. I didn't think they had nearly that many D1 commitments. It's really, really impressive to see. For NCAA Division 3, they had 20 commitments as well. So 20 commitments and 40 commitments altogether in terms of NCAA hockey. Really, really good to see. ACAC, they got 9 commitments. Nice. ACHA, they got 3. Honestly, if all their players wanted to play ACHA, they could get so many ACHA commitments, but probably because a lot of them want to play NCAA or U Sports, something like that, you have less ACHA commitments. And for U Sports, they actually got 10. So overall, really good movement on to the higher level, to the college level for the SJ. Again, you guys, I know you know that the SJ is a good league, but I didn't realize even myself how good it really was. So I want to put it at number 1 on this list here. All right, next, number 2 on the list here is the MJHL, so the one in Manitoba. Similar to the SJ, I knew it was a good league. I actually played in that league for a short stint in the past as well, but I didn't realize how many D1, D3, and D3 commitments that they actually moved on. So here are the stats really quick. NCAA D1, 14 commitments the past season. That's bonkers. Honestly, in my mind, and this is just me being biased, I thought there was only a few D1 commitments out of the MJ every year. I think it was like that back when I played, but now it's really made some strides and it's really starting to commit guys more and more. And especially I know Steinbach had a really good year this year, or this past season, or the past couple seasons, they've been really solid moving guys on. So that might have a factor to do with it, but still, 14 D1 commitments is bonkers in my mind for the MJ. It's really, really good. NCAA D3, 13. So similar to the SJ, the D3 and D1 commitments are really, you know, getting pushed forward, and it's pretty much equal in quantity, which is really nice to see. The ACAC, you got 2, ACHA, you got 4, and then U Sports, you got 9. So there's a lot, like for U Sports, it's almost neck and neck with the SJ. So obviously there's this, you know, this rumor, this note, like people know this out there, that the SJ is a little bit stronger than the MJ, not by much, but just a slight tier above. That being said, the stats are really, really close, and who knows, maybe the MJ might start competing against the SJ in the future, who knows? But honestly, really nice to see these Western Canada leagues do well in terms of commitments. All right, the third league I want to mention here on our list is Minnesota High School. Very underrated. The reason why I put this below the SJ and the MJ is because it's not as accessible to as many people, right? Usually Minnesota High School is reserved for people, again, that go to high school in Minnesota. It's not really, it's just kind of like a small like subsection of the hockey world, right? It's almost its own beast in a way. So there's not that many people, let's say they're from Massachusetts or Montreal, they're not going to go to Minnesota High School in this case. They're probably going to go to prep school, something like that. But overall, varsity Minnesota High School is a powerhouse. It has the most D1 commitments out of all the leagues and teams on this list. So overall, last year at NCAA D1, they committed 30 players. Bonkers. You would never think that they would have such good commitment numbers. I knew they were strong. I knew it was in the back of my mind. I was aware of it. I didn't realize that they really moved on this many guys straight from high school. So really cool to see. Minnesota High School, very strong, super underrated. Not that many people know about it. I wanted you guys to be aware about this. All right, so fourth league on our list here is the EHL. So also the Eastern Hockey League. Now, these guys, obviously, they're not like to the same caliber as the SJ, MJ, you know, and even the 5th league on our list here. It's a little bit below caliber because it is tier 3 hockey, but I'm putting it on here because in terms of NCAA D3 commitments, it has the most. It's a very D3 heavy league, and it's definitely worth mentioning because people don't understand how D3 heavy it really is and how you can actually get a commitment at this league. Some people think tier 3, you know what, I'm not even gonna bother, not even worth it. But at the end of the day, if you want to play NCAA hockey and you're okay with playing NCAA D3 hockey, EHL is a great league to go to. If you're a guy that's kind of like borderline with some of the higher leagues, like let's say the CCHL, the SJ, you know, AJ, if you're like a borderline player, gonna be 4th line healthy scratch, you're a 19 or a 20-year-old, you're better to go in the EHL where you're actually gonna get a lot of playing time, get exposure, and commit to a good D3 school. Really good league. So in terms of D1 commitments, it actually got 1, which is crazy. It's not really a D1 league, but it's cool that it got 1. But in terms of D3 commitments, a whopping 117 D3 commitments last year. So it really goes to show that in terms of D3 hockey, if you can make one of the higher leagues, it is the best league to go to, in my opinion. And the stats don't lie here. The last league on our list here, number 5, is the MHL out in the Maritimes. And there's a few nuances that I want to hit on here. So when you look at their stats, I'm going to say them in a sec, they're not as high as these other leagues, and they're not all that high altogether. But there's a few reasons for this. One, a lot of players over there, it's kind of like their last stop shop. So a lot of guys played Major Junior in the queue. They go there, you know, in their 19, 20-year-old year, they just kind of play for fun. Maybe they get paid a little bit, but they're NCAA ineligible. So a lot of that league is like that. Other players that play in there just don't know about, or they just don't have the dream to go play NCAA hockey. They just kind of end there. So and unfortunately, that league isn't all that scouted too much. So let me, you know, list off the stats and explain why afterwards it is probably a good league to go to still if you want to play like NCAA D3 hockey, or even if you want to play U Sports one day. So in terms of D1 commits, no D1 commits. In terms of D3, there's 5 D3 commits, and hold on to that number. We're going to talk about that in a sec. ACAC, there's 2, ACHA 0, and then U Sports, there's actually 8. So that's worth thinking about as well. So for the 5 NCAA D3 commits, again, I explained before why a lot of people are NCAA ineligible playing that league. But for the guys that are, you know, I would say in this particular league, if you end up here, you need a really good advisor working for you. Or you need to be very proactive and send teams videos, go to showcases, all this stuff, because NCAA schools don't really go scout that league themselves. You have to really be proactive, send video, ask them to watch your video, your hockey, TV games, and all that stuff. So that's the thing about this league. But if you're proactive, or if you have a good advisor putting your name out, you can definitely get a D3 commit out of this league because it's actually quite a strong league. There's really good caliber here. I would say it's pretty equivalent to leagues like the CC, the OJ in terms of caliber. It's very, very strong. So there's that. For U Sports, if you didn't play Major Junior, it might be a bit harder to get a U Sports commit. But honestly, I wouldn't put it past me. If you're a really good player, you're lighting up the league, you're doing really well, you could probably get a U Sports commit even if you didn't play Major Junior. So one thing to keep in mind for the MHL here, this is why I'm putting it on there. It's not necessarily my first league that I would recommend people to go to, but it's definitely a decent option if you have nothing else. All right, so let's just do a quick recap of the top 5 underrated leagues to play NCAA hockey. Now, without any context, I know you keyboard warriors are gonna absolutely destroy me, but here's the list. Number 1, the SJHL. Number 2, the MJHL. Number 3, Minnesota High School. Number 4, the EHL. And then number 5, the MHL. And that is a wrap for the video here. Hopefully you guys got some value out of it and you maybe find one of these underrated leagues, go to it and get an NCAA commitment in the future. If you do, that's great for you. If you haven't already, absolutely destroy that like button. It goes a really long way for other people to see this kind of video. And if you're new here and if you don't want to miss another video moving forward, hit that subscribe button and notification bell. If you have any questions, any comments, anything you want to talk about, if you disagree with this list, definitely drop a comment down below or send us a private email at info@ahadvising.com and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. We will catch you on that next one.